Imagine standing at the edge of the ocean today, a vast, blue expanse that has always felt ancient, eternal, and surprisingly familiar. But beneath that seemingly calm surface, a quiet transformation is underway, subtle yet relentless. The ocean as we know it is shifting, heated from within by the ceaseless accumulation of energy trapped by our warming planet. This isn't just about surface waters rising in temperature. It's the deep, slow-burning changes threading through the entire marine ecosystem. Strange shifts in currents, the bleaching of vibrant coral reefs into stark skeletons, and the gradual disappearance of species that once teemed in coastal waters. These are signals, whispered warnings from the depths. What if this ocean, once brimming with life and motion, falls eerily silent instead? Not dead, but altered beyond recognition. A world where our familiar marine rulers no longer hold sway, and new, uncanny masters begin their slow rise. This silence is not simply absence of sound, but a looming void where bustling ecosystems fade. The warming ocean has become a crucible that tests survival, reshaping habitats and fracturing the delicate balances forged over millions of years. Jellyfish blooms can appear suddenly, their gelatinous bodies drifting like ghosts through waters too corrosive or warm for many fish. Meanwhile, the foundational plankton, tiny yet crucial architects of the marine food web, suffer from acidification and rising temperatures, their populations wavering dangerously. With the base weakened, entire food chains stretch and sometimes snap, leaving uncertain patterns higher up and an unsettling stillness. Could the ocean's great symphony of life be dissolving into a quiet dirge? We hear only faint echoes now, a mysterious hush hinting at what is lost and what might come next. The surface waters tell one story, but the ocean is a layered world, and its changes run deeper than most realize. As warmth seeps downward, oxygen levels decrease, creating zones where life gasps for breath. These low-oxygen, dead zones spread like invisible shadows, areas inhospitable to the complex food webs we take for granted. Fish avoid them. Predators learn to hunt at their fringes, altering behavioral patterns in ways still not fully understood. This expanding silence beneath the waves is both fascinating and terrifying in its implications. As species retreat or vanish, the ocean floor and mid-water realms may become domains for creatures yet to be imagined, shaped by pressure, hunger, and the will to survive in extremes. What creatures lurk in these zones of absence and limitation? What adaptations will allow life to endure or even thrive in a world turned upside down? Climate models suggest these shifts will only intensify through the century, locking the ocean into an unfamiliar rhythm and geography. Geographic boundaries once defined by stable temperature layers dissolve, allowing species to migrate far beyond their historical ranges. Tropical fish venture poleward, invasive algae colonize new reefs, and predators track prey into increasingly hostile environments. This is a world in flux, a stage set for evolutionary contests with unexpected actors. Some of these changes occur so fast they outpace the usual glacial march of adaptation, raising the unsettling possibility of ecological collapse punctuated by rapid innovation. Are we witnessing the birth of new ecosystems? Strange, alien, flickering at the edge of our scientific understanding, or the death throes of an ancient order? The ocean's chemistry also reveals a silent horror story. Increased carbon dioxide dissolves into seawater, lowering pH in a process called ocean acidification. This insidious change weakens the shells and skeletons of corals, mollusks, and plankton alike, tiny armors essential for survival. Coral reefs, often called the rainforests of the sea, bleach and crumble under this chemical stress, eroding habitats that shelter 1/4 of all marine species. The loss sends ripples throughout the ecosystem, reducing biodiversity and altering predator-prey relationships. Yet this acidified, warmer ocean might give rise to hardier, stranger creatures, adaptive survivors that could flourish where others perish. What forms will evolutionary resilience take in these new chemical frontiers? And what will these changes mean for the intricate web of life and the future human reliance on ocean bounty? Amid this unfolding drama, technology offers a way to peer into the ocean's changing soul. Sensors drifting through the waves reveal real-time data on temperature anomalies, oxygen depletion, and shifting current patterns. Underwater drones film eerie, almost alien landscapes where fish shoals are replaced by slow-moving clouds of plankton or ghostly jellyfish hordes. Deep ocean observatories record the spread of oxygen minimum zones and monitor coral bleaching events as they occur. These digital eyes provide a haunting glimpse into a world where the familiar is fading, replaced by the strange and the unknown. What stories will these new explorers tell as they uncover the ocean's secret transformation? And how will humanity respond to a future written in codes of heat and chemistry? As the ocean falls silent, it invites us to imagine the outcomes not just of loss but of rebirth. History teaches that life finds a way, that in every mass extinction something new and unexpected arises from the wreckage. In the ocean's future, this might mean new forms of symbiosis, mysterious predatory behaviors, or bioluminescent spectacles never before witnessed. But there is an eerie tension in this vision. Evolution might twist life into forms both wondrous and unsettling, creatures that seem to straddle the line between biology and something almost otherworldly. This is the ocean's dark promise. A future where mastery belongs not to the predictable, but to the strange and the unexpected. What masters will emerge from the depths, and what forgotten rules will they rewrite? So as night falls and the ocean holds its breath, we stand on the threshold of this uncertain world, where science meets imagination in the twilight zone between known and unknown. The silence beneath the waves is not peace. It is a mystery waiting to unfold. The old currents and rulers fade, replaced by forces and forms we can scarcely envision. Yet the ocean is ever alive, restless, and waiting. The question now is not just who will become the new master of the depths, but whether we are ready to witness the ocean's future and face the truths it may reveal. Descending from the fading light of the ocean's surface, we enter the mysterious twilight zone, a realm where sunlight dissolves into darkness between 200 and 1,000 meters below the waves. Here, survival demands extraordinary adaptations crafted by evolution's relentless hand. Unlike the busy, sunlit layers above, this midwater world is a shadowy expanse, dimly illuminated by the bioluminescent flickers of its inhabitants. In this eerie glow, creatures have learned to live in near-perpetual twilight, their bodies often transparent or cloaked in darkness so deep it's as if they vanish entirely. How do they navigate this faintly lit abyss? How do life and death play out in these half-shadows, where the rules of sight and sound are rewritten by the absence of sunlight? Many Twilight Zone creatures are masters of disguise, using clever strategies to avoid predators and catch prey. Some wear transparent bodies so fragile and ghost-like that they seem like drifting phantoms, nearly invisible against the dim water. Others cloak themselves in deep reds and blacks, colors that vanish into the darkness because red light doesn't penetrate these depths, making them appear as mere voids in the water. But survival here isn't achieved by camouflage alone. Bioluminescence, life's own flickering electricity, serves as a secret language. Tiny flashes of blue, green, or red light ripple across bodies, used to lure prey, communicate with mates, or confuse hunters. This faint glow, so delicate yet powerful, turns the darkness into a canvas of eerie lights, like stars beneath the sea, hinting at mysteries we are only beginning to understand. This light dance isn't random. Many species participate in one of the most spectacular movements in the natural world, the daily vertical migration. As dusk falls, trillions of organisms, from minuscule plankton to small fish, ascend from the depths to feed in surface waters under the cover of night. They return by dawn, slipping silently back into the twilight's shadows. This journey replenishes the ocean's carbon cycle, shuttling atmospheric carbon deep into the ocean through their feeding and excretion. A hidden but crucial mechanism shaping Earth's climate balance. But this mass migration also reveals a tension. Venturing toward the light is perilous, fraught with predators lurking above. Yet the descent brings a chilling darkness that tests every sense and survival skill. What secrets do these migrations hold about life's resilience in shifting oceans? The Twilight Zone is not just a void, but a dynamic ecosystem teeming with curious forms that blur the line between the familiar and the bizarre. Consider the strawberry squid, a palm-sized cephalopod glowing ruby red to blend perfectly into its shadowy world. Or the ghostly crustaceans with see-through bodies so delicate, they seem like spirits haunting the deep. Some tiny amphipods possess specialized eyes adapted to detect even the faintest light, helping them find fleeting food or avoid becoming food themselves. Meanwhile, fish like the hatchetfish use counter-illumination, emitting light from their undersides that matches the faint surface glow, hiding their silhouettes from predators below. These adaptations reflect a delicate balance between visibility and invisibility, life and death, in a shadowy dance governed by light's final whispers. Pressure and temperature here push life to its limits. Creatures have evolved soft, flexible bodies to withstand crushing depths where a human would be instantly crushed. Their metabolisms are often slow and efficient, conserving energy in environments where food is patchy and unpredictable. Some predators, like the viperfish, wield enormous mouths lined with needle-sharp teeth, designed to trap anything unlucky enough to pass by. Others produce chemical lures that spark faint glows, drawing prey into a deadly trap under the cloak of darkness. These adaptations are chilling reminders that the Twilight Zone is a world of both beauty and danger, where ancient instincts sharpen into new survival tactics, where the line between marvel and menace is razor-thin. This mid-water realm also plays a surprisingly vital role in the global carbon cycle, transporting vast amounts of carbon from surface waters to the deep earth. As the migrators carry consumed carbon to the depths before dying or releasing waste, they help regulate atmospheric carbon dioxide, acting as a silent climate moderator. Scientists study this biological pump eagerly, for it holds clues to how well the ocean might buffer the impacts of human-driven climate change. But the Twilight Zone is one of Earth's least explored frontiers, holding species still unknown, behaviors unseen, and mysteries that challenge our understanding of life itself. Could the balance here tip suddenly and cascade through ocean ecosystems or climate feedback loops? What revelations await those who venture into this world between light and dark? Despite its remoteness and darkness, the Twilight Zone buzzes with sensory activity beyond human perception. Sound, pressure changes, and biochemistry form the language of survival. The echoes, clicks, and chemical trails guiding creatures through this fog of shadows. Some species navigate by detecting the faintest bioluminescent signals, while others rely on heightened senses attuned to pressure or electric fields. This sensory web constructs a hidden world as rich and complex as any rainforest, yet it is cloaked in near-total darkness to our eyes. What might we learn if we could see, hear, and feel this world as its inhabitants do? And what roles do these creatures play in maintaining the ocean's ever-shifting balance? As we linger in this twilight world, questions deepen rather than resolve. What evolutionary paths will these enigmatic dwellers take as oceans warm, stratify, and lose oxygen? Will new symbiotic alliances form from the shadows? Will the glowing flickers and ghostly shapes intensify or fade? The Twilight Zone is both refuge and crucible, a liminal space where survival demands innovation in the face of relentless change. In this half-light, life's possibilities expand and warp, hinting at future ocean masters not yet imagined. How long before these shadows step fully into the light, rewriting the story of the ocean's future? Beyond the dimming Twilight Zone lies the abyssal depths, a world cloaked in utter darkness and crushing pressure. This realm, stretching from roughly 1,000 meters to the ocean floor, is a place of extremes that few life forms dare to call home. Yet, evolution has woven incredibly resilient beings adapted to this forbidding environment. Here, visual cues disappear almost entirely, and the relentless weight of thousands of meters of water above compresses every living cell. The cold is unyielding. Temperatures hover just above freezing. How do these creatures survive? And what secrets does this eerie, silent world hold? These questions lead us into the fascinating study of abyssal adaptation, where life thrives against all odds, reshaping known biological rules. At these crushing depths, pressure is the ultimate challenge. Every 10 meters of ocean depth adds about 1 atmosphere of pressure, so organisms living at 4,000 to 6,000 meters endure pressures hundreds of times greater than at the surface. To withstand this, many abyssal species have evolved unique molecular adaptations. Proteins, the machinery of life, must resist denaturation, the dangerous unfolding that pressure can cause. Scientists have discovered that deep water creatures possess proteins with enhanced stability and refined folding mechanisms, allowing their cells to function normally under extreme pressure. Some species produce piezolites, special molecules that stabilize proteins and membranes, shielding their biology from the crushing weight around them. This molecular armor hints at a delicate, ongoing evolutionary arms race between physical forces and life's persistence. Temperature adds another layer of challenge. Close to freezing, the abyss is a world where metabolism slows and energy conservation becomes vital. Many abyssal organisms have adapted with slow growth rates, reduced activity, and efficient energy usage. Their bodies often lack rigid, calcified structures. Soft, flexible builds help resist pressure and reduce metabolic costs. The Dumbo octopus, for instance, glides through the darkness with delicate fins, its gelatinous form well suited to the high-pressure environment. Some fish produce antifreeze-like proteins to prevent cellular damage from cold. These adaptations paint a picture of life finely tuned to balance survival in a habitat of scarcity and extremes. The absence of sunlight eliminates photosynthesis, collapsing traditional food webs near the ocean floor. Instead, life depends on a trickle of organic material drifting down from above, the so-called marine snow. This steady, yet sparse drizzle of detritus sustains strange communities of scavengers and filter feeders. Certain crustaceans, like amphipods, swarm in extraordinary numbers, feeding on remnants of dead sea creatures and detritus. Some species, like the hagfish, specialize in consuming carcasses of animals that sink to the abyss. These feeding strategies underscore the abyss as a realm of both charitable decay and fierce competition for resources. How can something so dim and desolate support such diversity? The answer lies in the interplay of resilience, specialization, and seemingly delicate ecological balance. Chemical energy replaces sunlight as a defining force near hydrothermal vents, underwater geysers spewing mineral-rich fluids from Earth's fiery core. Around these oases of geothermal warmth, bizarre ecosystems thrive in complete darkness. Chemosynthetic bacteria harness chemical reactions to produce organic matter, forming the base of a food web unlike anything in the sunlit world. Giant tubeworms, crustaceans, and odd mollusks crowd around these vents, surviving on this life-sustaining energy. This biological ingenuity reveals ocean depths as not just places of desolation, but cradles of unique life, harboring communities that might be clues to early Earth and possibilities of life beyond our planet. To navigate the pitch-black abyss, many creatures have developed extraordinary sensory adaptations. Without light, eyes become less useful while other senses sharpen. Mechanoreception, electroreception, and chemoreception become vital. Some fish possess elongated barbels loaded with sensory cells to detect the faintest vibrations or chemical traces. Others generate their own light using bioluminescence not just for communication or predation, but to illuminate their dark surroundings. This light often pulses or flickers in ghostly displays, transforming the abyss into a theater of shadows and glimmers. The boundary between predator and prey is a continuous negotiation of trickery and detection, a spectral battlefield where survival depends on the mastery of unseen senses. The abyss also hosts monsters of scale and mystery. The colossal squid, potentially the largest invertebrate, roams these black depths with massive eyes adapted to capture the faintest glimmers of bioluminescence. Its arms, lined with hooks and suckers, make it a formidable hunter. Even larger, enigmatic fish like the fongtooth and gulper eel exhibit grotesque adaptations. Oversized teeth and expandable jaws that can swallow prey larger than themselves. These adaptations reveal a harsh reality. Food is scarce, but when opportunity arises, it must be seized with brutal efficiency. This biological extremism feels almost nightmarish, evoking tales of ancient sea monsters lurking beyond human reach. The genetics underpinning these adaptations reveal fascinating evolutionary paths. Recent genome studies of deep-sea fishes show accelerated evolution in genes related to protein folding, membrane fluidity, and sensory perception. These molecular blueprints expose convergent evolutionary solutions to the challenges of pressure, cold, and darkness across distant lineages. Such findings underscore that the abyss is not simply a bleak final frontier but a dynamic, adaptive ecosystem with complex biology. Could similar adaptations arise independently on other ocean worlds within our solar system, moons like Europa or Enceladus, where crushing pressure and darkness also prevail? The abyss offers a terrestrial glimpse into possibilities far beyond our planet. As we gaze into the abyssal darkness, a profound sense of awe mixed with unease settles in. This extreme zone shapes life in forms both wondrous and unsettling, pushing biology to its limits. It challenges our definitions of survival and mastery, hinting at future ocean empires that may evolve beyond comprehension. The abyss is a last refuge of mystery, holding secrets essential not just to understanding Earth's oceans, but to pondering life itself. What new rulers will emerge from these depths? How will they rewrite the story of survival in the ocean of the future? The abyss beckons us to listen closely to its silent, spectral call. Beneath the surface of the ocean's future, a silent but deadly transformation is underway. Ocean acidification, the process by which increased carbon dioxide dissolves into seawater and lowers its pH, poses a formidable threat to marine life. Imagine the ocean's chemistry shifting like a slow-moving poison, turning water sour and corroding the very foundations of underwater ecosystems. Creatures that depend on calcium carbonate to build shells and skeletons suddenly face an insidious enemy. Coral reefs, vibrant underwater cities supporting a quarter of marine species, begin to bleach and crumble, their fragile skeletons dissolving in the increasingly acidic waters. This is not a distant future. It is happening now, and faster than many anticipated. What happens when the architects of the ocean's diversity become victims of their own environment's transformation? From the towering spires of coral to the tiny plankton that drift through the water, the impact of acidification is wide-reaching. Organisms like sea urchins, oysters, clams, and pteropods, many small but immensely important, face the challenge of constructing their protective shells in conditions that dissolve their calcium carbonate. These creatures are essential pieces of the marine food web, supporting everything from fish to whales. With their foundations weakened, entire food chains fray and threaten collapse. Larvae of many species, particularly vulnerable during early development, often cannot form shells at all, dooming new generations before they even begin. How long before these breakages ripple upward, altering ocean ecosystems and the human economies they support? The chemical reactions driving acidification act like unseen eroders, transforming carbonate ions critical for shell building into less accessible bicarbonates. This subtle shift disrupts a balance exquisitely tuned over millennia. Unlike terrestrial environments, the ocean's chemistry changes continuously, but never at such a rapid pace. An evolutionary shockwave with consequences hard to predict. Species that once thrived under stable pH may struggle, while others less dependent on carbonate may invade niches left vacant. The resilience of some algae and seagrasses to higher carbon levels may shift ecosystem compositions in unexpected ways, potentially upsetting delicate food webs. Could these opportunistic species push ocean life toward an alien future, resilient but unrecognizable? The devastation on coral reefs exemplifies the broad environmental tragedy. Once the bustling rainforests of the sea, reefs worldwide suffer from bleaching and acid-driven skeletal weakening. Complex branching corals give way to simpler, boulder-like forms. In some places, reefs collapse into rubble and algae-dominated seascapes where fish diversity dwindles. This loss of biodiversity reduces the ocean's capacity to support fisheries and carbon cycling. Human communities reliant on reefs for food, coastal protection, and income face growing uncertainty. How will societies adapt when the ocean's natural bulwarks are hollowed out by chemistry beyond control? Beyond the reef, acidification disrupts physiological functions even in creatures without calcium carbonate shells. Many marine organisms experience increased energetic costs to maintain internal pH balance and repair acid-induced damage. For example, mussels and crabs begin to dissolve their shells to compensate for heightened acidity in their body fluids. Fish larvae exposed to acidified waters lose the ability to smell and evade predators, increasing mortality. These indirect effects ripple through ecosystems, from the tiniest plankton to apex predators. What hidden vulnerabilities might yet emerge as acidification deepens? Scientists use laboratory experiments, field studies, and sophisticated models to uncover acidification's complex impacts. Evidence grows that ocean chemistry is nearing threshold points beyond which ecosystems may shift irreversibly. Economic losses in oyster and shellfish farming, already observed, hint at larger disruptions in the marine food supply chain. This cascade of effects underscores the urgent need to understand and mitigate carbon emissions that drive ocean acidification. Yet amidst this crisis, some species exhibit surprising adaptability, hinting at potential evolutionary responses waiting to be uncovered. How might ocean life reinvent itself under such intense pressure? The ocean's role as a major carbon sink means that acidification feeds back into global climate dynamics. As marine ecosystems weaken, their ability to sequester carbon diminishes, potentially accelerating atmospheric warming. This reinforces the ocean's dual role as both victim and mediator in the climate crisis. A living system delicately balanced yet increasingly strained. Efforts to restore and protect ocean habitats, reduce pollution, and cut greenhouse gases become all the more critical as science illuminates these fragile interconnections. Will humanity rise to this challenge and safeguard the ocean's future masters? Looking ahead, the ocean of the future may harbor life both familiar and alien, shaped by acidification and intense environmental change. Some coral species may survive only in isolated refuges. Others might yield to tougher algae or sponges. Tiny calcifiers might evolve more resilient shells or new survival strategies, while entire ecosystems reorganize under new chemical regimes. The ocean's past, shaped by countless extinctions and rebirths, tells us that life endures, but often in forms that surprise and unsettle us. In this harsh new world, who will become the new master of the depths? We face a mystery as profound as the ocean itself, unfolding in silent, acidified waters. Beneath the surface lies an extraordinary world where life has evolved to transform the crushing pressure and utter darkness into a theater of creation and destruction. In the ocean's abyss, creatures have become architects, engineers, and gardeners of an ecosystem unlike any other. Around hydrothermal vents, where Earth's molten core meets seawater, towering mineral structures burst forth, chimneys built by colonies of chemosynthetic bacteria that convert chemical energy into a foundation of life. These vents create islands of warmth and fertility in an otherwise barren, freezing desert. Here, organisms thrive without sunlight, relying on chemistry instead of photosynthesis. This strange world challenges our understanding of what sustains life and hints at possibilities beyond our planet's oceans. What secrets lie hidden in these dark, glowing cities? The biochemistry of life here is uncanny. Instead of sunlight fueling food webs, chemosynthetic bacteria harness hydrogen sulfide and other chemicals spewed from deep earth to produce organic matter. These bacteria form the base of unique food chains supporting tubeworms, clams, shrimp, and exotic mollusks. Tubeworms, with their massive, plumed red gills, host symbiotic bacteria inside their bodies, feeding directly on these chemical harvesters. It's a partnership forged in alien conditions, where survival depends on intricate mutualism. As these communities build vast fields of mineral and organic matter, they sustain vibrant ecosystems in total darkness. Could similar processes foster life on other celestial bodies with subsurface oceans? The architecture of the abyssal world is unlike any surface ecosystem. Worms weave tunnels that ventilate the ocean floor, while colonies of crustaceans farm bacteria on mineral surfaces. These behaviors resemble primitive farming, with creatures cultivating food sources in an environment where organic material is scarce. Meanwhile, brittle stars and sea cucumbers patrol the seafloor, scavenging detritus and nutrients. Intelligent cooperation and chemical signaling orchestrate these communities much like an underwater civilization. Their mineral towers and biotic networks stand as monuments to evolutionary ingenuity against odds that would crush most life. What drives such complex behaviors in creatures so remote and alien to us? The extreme environment shapes compelling adaptations. Many species have evolved transparent or gelatinous tissues that withstand pressure without rigid skeletons. Some bacteria produce biofilms that stabilize vents, while others create mineral deposits shielding their communities. Organisms here are slow-growing and long-lived, conserving every calorie in a grasping world of scarcity. The interplay of heat, minerals, and microbial life creates dynamic habitations that shift with volcanic cycles. Life at vents teeters between creation and destruction, at the mercy of haphazard volcanic activity. How might these volatile ecosystems respond to changing ocean chemistry as the planet warms? Scientists explore these realms with remotely operated vehicles that reveal landscapes bathed in strange lights and steaming mineral spouts. Imaging shows glowing bacterial mats, swarms of shrimp with red eyes adapted to blackness, and elegant tubeworm forests towering over seafloor plains. Deep-sea vents whisper of antiquity, relics of Earth's fiery beginnings and the cradle of life itself. They offer windows into evolutionary origins and hint at habitats beyond our imagination. Yet each expedition reveals mysteries interwoven with threats. How will acidification, warming, and human impacts alter these fragile kingdoms? Are these communities resilient or vulnerable to unprecedented change? The biochemical flux of vents inspires questions about life's adaptability. Can the chemosynthetic engines of these ecosystems buffer against environmental stressors? Will extremophiles evolve to withstand acidified, low-oxygen waters? Some evidence suggests microbial communities might shift their metabolism in response to changing conditions, but larger organisms dependent on symbiosis remain at risk. The dynamic mineral and chemical environment of vents offers both refuge and challenge in an evolving ocean. What evolutionary paths will life trace when forced to innovate in chemistry and energy flows beyond sunlight's reach? This abyssal zone also hosts formidable predators and scavengers, creatures uniquely adapted to hunt or survive in such a harsh environment. Enigmatic crustaceans scuttle in shadowy networks, while carnivorous fish with hinged jaws and needle-like teeth await prey attracted to vent chemicals. Some animals have evolved unique bioluminescent patterns to communicate or deceive in this lightless expanse. The interplay of predation and cooperation creates a dark drama vastly different from sunlit coral reefs. How do these relationships shape survival when light-dependent senses fade and pressure and chemistry dominate? Exploring the abyssal architects at hydrothermal vents reveals a world where life masters chemistry and pressure to forge new orders of existence. In this dance of creation and destruction, we glimpse the ocean's potential futures, ecosystems remote, adaptive, and mysterious. These mineral towers are both monuments to resilience and reminders of fragility amid Earth's restless forces. The ocean's depths hold echoes of ancient life's origins and whispers of worlds beyond. Who will become masters here as conditions shift? And what lessons about survival and mastery do they hold for all life on our ever-changing planet? In the deepest, darkest reaches of the ocean, where sunlight dares not tread, a shadowy titan reigns supreme, the giant squid. This elusive creature, shrouded in mystery and legend, inhabits the twilight depths between 200 and 1,000 meters. Here, the world is cold, pressure immense, and light scarce, providing a realm both hostile and mesmerizing. Recent breakthroughs in deep-sea exploration have finally revealed glimpses of this elusive predator in its natural habitat, igniting wonder and speculation. What secrets does the giant squid hold, lurking silently in these abyssal zones? How does such a seemingly solitary monster thrive in the vast emptiness of the deep sea? The giant squid's habitat is a landscape unlike any other, dominated by steep continental and island slopes, where the ocean floor plunges into dizzying depths. These slopes create pockets of rich biodiversity teeming with deep-sea fish and smaller squid species, the perfect hunting grounds for the leviathan. Despite their impressive size, the giant squid remains mostly a silent predator, drifting through these shadowy waters with ghostly grace. Their bodies are streamlined for stealth and efficiency, enabling them to ambush prey in the dim blue gloom. Yet, despite their size, much of the giant squid's life goes unseen by humans, concealed by the crushing darkness of their world. What behaviors govern these solitary hunters in such an isolated domain? Giant squids possess many adaptations uniquely suited to their daunting environment. Their large, sophisticated eyes are among the largest in the animal kingdom, perfectly tuned to detect the faintest glimmers of bioluminescence emitted by other deep-sea life. This visual acuity allows them to navigate and hunt in near-total darkness. Their arms and tentacles, equipped with serrated suckers and hooks, become deadly tools capable of ensnaring slippery prey. Yet they conserve energy by drifting on ocean currents, launching bursts of jet propulsion when speed and surprise are necessary. These contrasts of stealth and power are hallmarks of a creature evolved to dominate in a world where food is sparse and danger constant. Dietary habits of the giant squid unveil a brutal portrait of survival. They prey on deep-sea fish like orange ruffy and other squid species, using their two specialized tentacles to strike with lightning speed. Once caught, prey is hauled toward their powerful beak, a sharp chitinous mouthpiece capable of shredding flesh with ruthless efficiency. Some evidence even suggests occasional cannibalism among giant squid, hinting at territorial struggles or desperate feeding when encounters are rare. Such interactions weave a complex web of life optimized for the abyss. How do these titans impact the deep-sea food chain, and how do they coexist with other colossal denizens like the colossal squid or sperm whale predators? Despite their mythic reputation, giant squids do not live in open waters alone. They are believed to frequent depths near the seafloor rather than continuously swimming the midwater column. Recent insight comes from tracking sperm whales, their main predator, which dive deep following their prey. This predator-prey relationship forms a shadowy dance of survival at unlit depths, where the giant squid's rare glimpses offer tantalizing clues to their social and hunting behaviors. Intriguingly, though solitary, some interactions may hint at complex communication or encounter rituals, still largely unknown to science. What mysteries about their life history and behavior remain locked in the ocean's shadows? Movement in this crushing environment is an elegant balance of power and economy. Giant squids propel themselves by drawing water into their mantle and forcefully expelling it through a siphon, creating bursts of jet propulsion. This technique allows them rapid, agile movement, essential for both escaping predators and ambushing prey. Meanwhile, their small lateral fins provide delicate steering and hovering ability in the water column. Despite their intimidating size, much of their time seems spent drifting in the twilight zone, motionless and watchful. How do their hunting strategies evolve in a world where energy is precious and encounters unpredictable? The immense challenges of studying these creatures mean much about their life cycle, and reproduction remains speculative. Scientists believe giant squids grow rapidly to enormous lengths, possibly up to 13 meters, with a lifespan of several years. Mating likely involves complex encounters in the dark depths, with females depositing large egg masses on the seafloor, vulnerable to predation. Juveniles inhabit different depths, gradually moving deeper as they mature, adapting uniquely at each stage. The full picture of their life history is a patchwork of inference and fragmentary observation. How will ongoing advances in submersible technology and genetics reveal their hidden world? Encountering the giant squid is like meeting a phantom from prehistory, a creature both magnificent and terrifying in its alien domain. Its existence challenges our perceptions of mastery beneath the waves, reminding us that the ocean still holds rulers unknown and realms unexplored. As climate change and human activity impact deep ocean habitats, understanding these enigmatic giants becomes not just a scientific quest but a race to preserve the secrets of the abyss. The giant squid beckons us to explore the ocean's depths and confront the mysteries of life's persistence in darkness. Who will truly master these shadowed heights in the ocean of the future?